Hey everybody, this is Harrison with Level 1 Gaming, bringing you some impressions for Steel Seed. Steel Seed is mostly built as a stealth action adventure that's set in a dark fantasy world, and it does deliver on some of those promises.
Doesn't this thing ever give up?
However, it just ultimately failed to capture my
It's
attention
sinking.
during my time with it, and sometimes the game just doesn't click with you, and for me, Steel Seed is one of those titles. If I had to compare Steel Seed to something,
Get out of here!
imagine the
No!
first few hours of Jedi Fallen Order or Uncharted. There's lots of wall running, climbing, and stealth takedowns, but very minimal combat.
It's
Now imagine if
slipping!
that was stretched into pretty much an entire game. There is combat here, and you do have a little
What?
robot companion that helps you in both fights and puzzles. It
Ah!
also leans into Souls-like territories with basically bonfire-style checkpoints where you can upgrade person, it respawns enemies, there's skill trees, and other mechanics. The robot's name here is Kobe, and Kobe controls kind of like how you control your robot companion in Nier Automata. He also assists with traversal challenges here. However, there's just Steel Seed always lacks something that I can never quite put my finger on. And along with all that, it constantly just felt clunky, weirdly in almost every aspect. The stealth always felt just a tad too simplistic, with each room is basically like a puzzle where you can either eliminate enemies or sometimes just sneak past them. But if you do get caught, you're thrown into some really, really awkward, unsatisfying combat, some of the most that I've played in a recent title. And as you can see on screen
So,
here, a
you're
lot of
gonna
the
stay
game
around?
is traversing, adventuring,
Sure,
using Kobe to help
Cody.
you solve puzzles.
Whatever
And
you
these parts
say.
are fine. They're well done, mechanically well done. Moving through the environment is fun as well. So if you like these type of adventuring, you'll have a fun time with this. Graphically, this game is kind of all over the place. At times, the games would run smoothly, staying above 60 FPS, 30, whatever your preference is. Other times, it would drop to like 15 and then shoot back up to 120 like seconds later. The opening cutscene and a few of the environments look okay too, but early on, the areas kind of blur together and start to feel samey until you get to like the desert area that you see now. The rundown, dilapidated industrial areas do boast some impressive views and feature some
Is
pretty
that
good art design.
what an
However, there's
alien
nothing
is
here that
letting
you
us
have
do
not
for
seen
no
before.
info?
And like when you get in this second area, I don't know if you're
You
like
wasn't
me,
enough
but I've
promise,
been
dude.
I see
You
so
know
many
it.
deserts in games, and no matter what game it is, if I see a desert, it just becomes kind of non-memorable to me because all the
You
deserts
thought
kind of blur
happiness
together.
too? That's scary.
Story-wise, the game boasts that it's revised and edited um, by a BAFTA award-winning writer, but as a basically a stealth Souls-like, the story here takes a back seat. And for me, it felt overly simple and forgettable. It's essentially about you're a cyborg put together by your dad.
This
And
area
while it
is a
introduces
mess.
itself with a bombastic
I had
intro,
no
the
idea
allure of the
where we're
story
going.
quickly wore off for me. And ultimately, for me, it proved to not be a driving force for me to continue with the game. And it's hard to pinpoint exactly what was off for me, but the game always felt like it was missing something. Maybe it tries to juggle too many ideas.
Yes, but
I don't
where's
know. But
this
at
all
its core, I
going?
just found the combat and stealth mechanics really
Guess we'll
unsatisfying. And if
find
they were
out
trying to
sooner or
force you to
later.
do stealth,
Not
I'm not
very
sure the best way to
reassuring.
do that is by making the combat so clunky. There was just always a hint of jank. For example, you can command your robot companion Kobe to shoot or attack enemies, kind of like the pod in Nier Automata, but it never fully felt satisfying or impactful. He would miss a lot no matter what I did. Speaking of Nier, Steel Sea definitely shares some similarities regarding set pieces. Numerous points during the game you're up against very, very large bosses, you run away from them. These set pieces, though, are a nice break from the stealth. It's worth me mentioning here as well that this game does not play nice, at least for me, did not play nice with OBS with the Steam recording feature. The game itself would run fine, but you're seeing pretty much just a one shot of gameplay here because of one of the few times that OBS or Steam recording would behave with the game.
I need
Again, the
urgent
game would
repairs.
behave fine, but the playback recording would run at really, really choppy frames per second or just give weird visual distortions. So if you're someone who plays games that give you the choice between stealth versus combat and you always opt for stealth, Steel Seed might be the game for you. Avoiding combat, Steel Seed does deliver some acceptable stealth action and parkour and traversal, but absolutely cannot deliver an outright combat. All that said, I do think this game will find an audience. That audience just isn't me. Well, that'll be all of this for this impressions. Again, Perga1 with Level 1 Gaming. Like,
That
subscribe, all that fun stuff, and we'll see you later. Thanks for
All
watching.
right, Zoe. Trust